Hi everybody! It's been a little while since I've done a story, so thought I'd do a story. This one's called Angry James. So there was a young boy named James. James was a very angry boy. He was never happy about anything. He was just, angry. He was angry at everybody. He didn't need a reason to be angry. He used to be angry at his mom, dad, his sister, his grandfather, his teachers, at his friends. Well, the few that he had. He was angry at everybody. James was just always angry. One of the people who made him really angry was his little sister. She wanted to borrow his iPad like all the time. It used to be so annoying. He wanted to play games on his iPad, but instead he had to lend it to his sister, which made him angry. He got very angry at the little sister. James used to be angry at his mom, especially at dinner time. Mom used to make these disgusting healthy vegetables that she said was good for you. James didn't care what was good for you. He wanted food that tasted yummy, not disgusting healthy vegetables. Ugh. James used to be angry at his granddad. Ugh. Granddad was like so slow at everything. He didn't quite understand things, and it frustrated James because he had to say everything so many times before Granddad actually got it. Oh my God, Granddad, you are so slow. Oh, old people. James used to be angry at his dad, especially when his dad came home from work. And James used to say, "Hey, Dad, do you want to play outside?" And James's dad always said, "Not today, I'm very tired." This made James angry. Why are people always tired? He got angry. And he used to scream and shout, and sometimes he threw things at people. James was angry not only at home, but at school as well. He was angry at his teachers, he was angry at his friends. Well, one day, James's dad came home, and James's dad gave him a pack of nails. And James's dad said to James, "I want you to take this hammer and take this pack of nails, and every time you get angry, I want you to hammer the nail onto the fence, onto the wooden fence." James thought this was stupid. I mean, he's asking his dad to play a game with him, and instead his dad's brought in nails and a hammer. That was silly. James took that pack of nails and hammer. He went outside and he threw it on the grass. He didn't care for some dumb nails. How's that going to make him feel better? James went to bed. He didn't even want to have dinner because Mom had made those disgusting beans. Ugh, green stuff. The next day, James came back from school and James was angry. He was angry because he wasn't voted to be the captain of the soccer team. That darn Jaden was voted to be the captain. Ugh. James was angry. He wanted to be the captain of the soccer team. James came home, he threw his bag on the floor and he went outside. And he saw there was full of nails on the ground. He picked one up, he picked up the hammer and he banged it into the fence. Felt good. He took another and he thought about all those people in his school that made him angry, and he hit that nail into the fence. It felt good. He thought of his teacher and all the homework she had given him, and he hit into the fence and it felt so good. James put nails into the fence until his hands started getting tired. And then he went into his home and was his usual angry self at everybody. Then, one day, James was hitting one of those nails into the fence and he hurt his finger. He didn't put the nail through the finger, he just hammered his finger instead of the nail, and it hurt. It hurt so much. James held his finger tightly with his other hand and he went upstairs in a hurry into his room, and his mom saw him and said, "James, are you okay, love?" But James didn't want to answer her. He wanted to cry, but he didn't want to cry in front of anybody. So he went into his room, he slammed the door really hard, and he cried. And he cried and cried and cried, angry tears. He thought about everyone that made him angry, and he felt that the pain in his finger was because of everybody. When James finished crying, he looked out the window and he saw the fence outside the window. And the fence had all these nails on it. James thought for a moment, I did that every time I was angry at somebody. Is that how angry I am? James held onto his hurting finger and he thought about all the people he has hurt in being angry. He thought about his little sister when he was angry at her, and remembered her scared face. He thought of his mom and how bad she felt when he wouldn't eat dinner. He thought about his granddad and his granddad's confused and uncertain look on his face, and he thought about his dad who looked really tired and sad. And James remembered his face in the mirror when he was angry, and he thought of all those people he's made sad because of his anger. James started thinking about his teacher, Miss Love, and he thought about all the things that Miss Love had taught him in school. And one of the things in one of the lessons that he didn't care for very much, James remembered Miss Love saying that anger is just an emotion, just like happiness is. And if he can be angry, he can also be happy. James felt a little bit sad. He didn't like making people angry, and he realized that he can take control of his anger. Miss Love had told him that when you feel angry, that you can do other things instead of getting mad at people. You can scribble on a piece of paper, you can listen to some music, you can write a story, you can color in. It helps you calm down. So James thought for a while, looking outside his window, and he thought, maybe he's going to start taking each of those nails out of the fence. James did that. James started taking out all those nails from the fence. It was hard work. It was harder to take the nails out than it was to put it in. But he did it. It took him a very long time. But he took all the nails out. And what he saw on the ground were all these nails. The nails didn't look like what they did when he put them in. They were all bent and crooked. The fence didn't look very good either. It had holes in it. And James thought, this is how everyone feels after you've been angry at them. It doesn't feel good and doesn't look good. So James started changing himself. And he started with his little sister. The next day when his little sister came into his room and said, James, can I have the iPad for a little while? James had a big smile on his face and said, of course you can. And very quickly his little sister smiled back. And he said to her, what do you need it for? And she said, well, I've got so much online work I have to do. I'm falling behind and my teacher's not very happy with me. And I've got a lot of stuff I need to catch up on. James felt really bad because he's been hogging the iPad for computer games when his sister really needed it for some work. He said to his sister, would you like me to help you? And she said yes. James went with her and helped her do her work. She felt really proud of her big brother. After they had finished work, James even played card games with her. She was so happy. When he finished with helping his little sister, he went into the kitchen and saw his mom cooking. And he said to his mom, Mom, do you need any help? Mom was a bit confused and said, sure. He said, what can I do? And she said, well, maybe you can wash those vegetables. Ugh, vegetables, James thought. He started feeling angry again, but then remembered her face, her sad face, every time he got angry. And he said, okay, I'll wash the vegetables. James washed all the vegetables. It took a long time. And then he cleaned them. and then he chopped them. That took a long time too. Then he watched Mum cook them, which took even longer time. He realized that Mum made a lot of effort putting dinner together for the family. And he gave her a hug and he said, "Thank you, Mum, for the dinner you're making." Mum felt really happy and had the biggest smile, and she said, "You're welcome." James went to his grandfather and said, "Hey, Granddad, would you like some cup of tea?" Granddad said, "Huh?" James asked again in a louder voice, and Granddad said, "Huh?" James realized Granddad hadn't had his hearing aids on. So James went and got Granddad his hearing aids. Granddad put it on, and James asked again, "Granddad, would you like some tea?" Granddad said yes with the biggest smile. So James went and made Granddad some tea. He sat with Granddad and asked Granddad about what it was like being a young boy. Granddad shared his stories, and James was really interested in what life was like back then when there was no iPad or TV. James was very interested in everything Granddad said, and Granddad felt good sharing some of his stories and having somebody to talk to. When James's dad came back from work, James's dad said, "Hi, Dad, can I take your bag for you?" James's dad didn't know how to react, but said sure. James sat with his dad, and he asked his dad how his day was been. James's dad told James about his day, and it seemed like Dad had a very busy day at work. He worked very hard. James realized no wonder Dad didn't have time to play with James, because Dad was so exhausted from work. When James took time out for his family and listened to everyone, James felt good. James didn't feel angry anymore. When James went to school and things didn't go James's way, it was okay. James realized that sometimes he can't be the captain of the game. And when James realized this and was happy himself, the next week he got voted to be the team captain. James was proud. James still got angry sometimes, but he remembered what Miss Love said. And he remembered that when he gets angry, he has to remember what it feels like in his body, how his body's feeling like. It gets really hot sometimes, and his head starts throbbing. And when that happens, James learns to relax. It helps take some deep breaths. And if that doesn't work, some coloring in helps. And sometimes if that doesn't work, scribbling on a paper helped. And if that didn't work, just sitting somewhere quietly helped. James started practicing to stay calmer. And the more he practiced, the more calm he became, the more happier he became. And he realized that it was all in his head. And he can be his happy self as well. Angry James turned into happy James. And when James was happy, everybody around James was happy as well. So when you get angry next time, start recognizing those feelings in your body and think about all those faces. Have a look at their faces when you are angry at somebody and you are speaking some words that are unkind. Look at that person's face and remember the story about James and how bad he felt afterwards. And there are better things we can do, or things to calm ourselves when we're angry. So think about what you can do to calm yourself when you start feeling angry. And remember, it's only an emotion. And if you can feel angry, you can also feel happy. And it's much nicer feeling happy. I know I like feeling happy all the time. Bye, kids.